Mr. Modi says that he doesn't have a mobile. 27 to Godhra happens, 28 to the entire Gujarat is burning. It's impossible to believe that Mr. Modi did not receive any calls or did not call up somebody. His house phone, of which records were available, office phone, house phone, of which records were available, showed very negligible calls. So obviously he was using his PA's mobile phones to transmit messages, to talk to people, etc. Now this aspect is completely ignored. This has not been gone into. And remember one thing, that in matters of conspiracy, forget this, in any matters of conspiracy, it's the Supreme Court itself has said that it's impossible to have direct evidence. You have to go by circumstantial evidence. Mr. Modi is not going to tape record himself calling somebody, telling somebody that let Hindus have a free for all kind of situation. Obviously not. Nobody is going to do that. So you have to test it through circumstances. Now our case before the magistrate as well as before the High Court was only limited to this, that there is enough evidence to put Mr. Modi on trial. What the magistrate has done is said that there is not even evidence to even put Mr. Modi or the 60 others on trial, which was quite shocking. It is possible that after a full-fledged trial, some of them might get convicted, some of them might get acquitted. That's a different matter. But we were saying that enough evidence is there, about 10,000 pages of evidence is there, and all this evidence, let everything be tested through a trial, through cross-examination and examination. Why is everybody shying away from that? So that was our main plea. In 2006, when the complaint was filed, Mr. Sanjiv Bhatt was nowhere in the picture. Even when the Supreme Court ordered the further looking into the matter of further investigation, Mr. Sanjiv Bhatt was nowhere in the picture. Nobody knew that Mr. Sanjiv Bhatt was present at such a meeting of 27 February. The inkling about the meeting of 27 February 2002 was based on what Mr. Haren Pandya had said, who was a minister who was killed subsequently. He was a minister in Mr. Modi's government and who had deposed before the Citizens Tribunal, saying that there was such a meeting and there Mr. Modi had made such a statement. But even there, the question of whether Mr. Sanjiv Bhatt was present at the meeting or not present at the meeting did not arise. So 2006 complaint of Zakia doesn't even name Sanjiv Bhatt at all, or doesn't place any reliance on Sanjiv Bhatt's statement. So the complaint has nothing to do with Mr. Sanjiv Bhatt. Complaint was based on Mr. Haren Pandya's statement, and of course, as I mentioned, Mr. Shri Kumar's various affidavits, etc., etc. It is only after the SIT started investigating on the basis of Supreme Court's orders that Sanjiv Bhatt on his own comes up and files an affidavit. He gives a statement to SIT, and then he files an affidavit also in Supreme Court, etc., etc. So Sanjiv Bhatt comes alive only after the Supreme Court has already decided that there needs to be some serious investigation into Ms. Jafri's complaint. It is not our case. It was never our case. See, the magistrate, the SIT, as well as I feel even the High Court misdirected themselves by assuming that our case of conspiracy rested on 27th February 2002 meeting. Our case is that even if 27 to 2002 meeting did not happen, the conspiracy is still established by various events from prelude up to May, June, July, August, September 2002. It so happened that Mr. Sanjiv Bhatt came and said that I was present at this meeting and something happened at the meeting. But Sanjiv Bhatt's statement was completely absent from Zakia Jafri's complaint of 2006 and was never the pillar of her protest petition, which was filed in 2013. Zakia Jafri's complaint, as I mentioned earlier, deals with a larger conspiracy. It names more than 60 accused. Majority of them had no role to play in Gulberg society case, either directly or indirectly. So Zakia Jafri's complaint was that there was a larger conspiracy which also involved Gulberg, but which also involved Naroda Patia, which also involved Naroda Gam, Mehsana, etc., etc., the whole of it. Whatever happened between February and May 2002 was pursuant to a conspiracy and abetment. It was one, a case of conspiracy; B, abetment; 3, failure to perform duty; and 4th, hate speech of Mr. Narendra Modi. Now, and just to give you an example, one of the complaints, or one of the accusations in the complaint, is concerning Mr. Modi's speech in what is known as Becharaji. That was given in 9 September 2002 at a place called Becharaji, which has nothing to do with even Ahmedabad. Forget Gulberg. That was at the beginning of his election campaign. He doesn't talk about Gulberg there. It was basically a hate speech, independent of Gulberg. Gulberg had happened. People were dead. People were massacred, etc., etc. This had nothing. This speech has nothing to do with Gulberg per se. But it was a hate speech directed towards the minority community, and therefore, she had made this as one of the accusations. Now, what has this got to do with Gulberg? I do not know. But anyway, the SIT kept on confusing that. Also, unfortunately, if I may say, the magistrate and also the High Court seems to have come to the same conclusion for reasons which I personally feel are not tenable. The major reason seems to be that when there is no order of the Supreme Court saying that Zakia Jafri's complaint should be treated as an FIR, but there are orders of Supreme Court which say that it should, the investigation, the magistrate who took cognizance of Gulberg should go into this matter. Now this has created a confusion, because what has happened is that Zakia Jafri herself, she was a resident of Gulberg society. The larger conspiracy, if you want to go into the larger conspiracy, you have to go into you will have to go into Ahmedabad, Baroda, Mehsana, etc., 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 etc. But you can file the case only at one place. So possibly because the Supreme Court thought that she was already a victim of Gulberg. That's why let the same magistrate examine it. But according to me, it was never linked to Gulberg, because Gulberg was a separate trial which dealt with an episode of violence which happened in and in fact, if you look at the investigation which is carried out, even the closure report, which culls out 32 points, many of those points have nothing to do with Gulberg. For instance, the investigating agency itself goes into the Becharaji, itself goes into hate speech, etc., etc. Even the closure, that has nothing to do with Gulberg society case. It goes into various other issues, thing to do with Gulberg. For instance, whether prosecutors were properly appointed, not appointed. The Becharaji, itself goes into hate speech, etc. Ministers in the control room next day, which has nothing to do with Gulberg society case. So the investigating agency itself examined all those issues, which were much beyond what Gulberg society trial was looking into, and therefore clubbing this as therefore treating this. What happens is, when you club it with Gulberg society, you are looking at only whether Gulberg was a conspiracy or not. But what we were arguing is, no, there is a larger conspiracy. And according to us, the Supreme Court had accepted that proposition, that what Zakia Jafri's complaint is dealing with is the larger conspiracy.